What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So today I want to talk about quiet quitting. And I have to say I saw something like this happening because just the way things were handled in the last couple of years when it came to the pandemic and all that, I just saw something that was going to come down when it comes to employees and employers. So that's what we're going to talk about today. But first off, if I can ask you to do me one favor, please like the video and also subscribe to the channel if you have not done so, and hit that little bell notification. That way you get notified anytime we put out a video. And if you're liking the video, subscribing to the channel and hitting that little bell notification, YouTube will promote this video out to others, and I'd really appreciate that. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about quiet quitting. Now, you might think this means you're quitting your job. You're not actually quitting your job. You're just not working. You're not going above and beyond, basically. And I'm retired now. I just retired. It's been like 8 months since I've retired. And I would have to say at the very end, right before I was getting ready to retire, I was quiet quitting. I was doing the bare minimum. And I'm being honest with you when it comes to that, because you kind of get to that. And when you get close to retirement, you'll understand. You're kind of in a limbo. It's like, okay, I need to get things done, but I'm not going to be going above and beyond. I'm not looking for promotion or anything like that. And so that's where I was. I was still doing my job, but I just wasn't going above and beyond. I wasn't working those extra hours. And I think right now what we're seeing a lot of people. First, we saw a lot of people quitting. Okay, so during the pandemic, after the pandemic, we saw a lot of people that were just quitting their job. And you saw people looking for different type of employment. I think a big reason for that is there are people that have been working for 10, 15 years in one job. And I think some people are coming to the realization they invested all their time in this company, and this company just lays them off. And so now they're looking for a company that's more solid, or they were looking for an advantage to be able to work from home, because not all jobs, you can't work from home in all jobs. And so I think that started it. People were quitting. They started quitting their jobs and going to other types of employment, or not even going back in the workforce. They were actually getting educated, going to college and things like that, because they wanted to make more money in the future, have a more stable job. So that was the beginning. And now we're in this quiet quitting mode. And I remember a couple of years ago, I was talking about this hero pay. They were talking about hero pay for people who were working through the pandemic, people who had to work, the essential workers. They wanted to have some type of a bonus for them. The federal government was talking about, Congress was talking about this. They wanted to move forward with something. They never moved forward with anything. And I think that's another thing that people were looking at. People who were working, and people working in grocery stores and just a variety of different places, and hospitals. And they were working all these hours, and they weren't getting, and when it came down to Congress trying to figure out, okay, we're sending out stimulus checks, we're sending out EIDL funding, PPP loans, we're sending out money to a lot of different areas, but what about the people who are continuing to work and have to work? Even though our country pretty much shut down, we still had people that were essential and they needed to work, and they got nothing in return for that. Okay, now you did have some companies showing their appreciation by giving bonuses, but for the most part, when it came to the federal government, when it came to Congress moving forward with any type of legislation, they didn't move forward with anything. And I think that had an effect on people too. They're saying, look, we're working all these hours. We're actually helping the federal government, helping the governments in general, because they're shutting things down, but we're still there to provide food, to provide other things that needed to happen at that time. And so now you have people that are quiet quitting. They're just doing their job. They're not going above and beyond. They're not working those extra hours. So when it comes, they work 9 to 5. When it comes to 5 o'clock, they're gone. They're not thinking about work anymore. They're not answering the phone or anything like that after hours. And that's the whole quiet quitting. And you also need to look at the jobs market. When it comes to employees, they have the upper hand right now, because for every one applicant, there are 2 jobs waiting for them. And so if you want a job, you can get a job. And so what that means is these employers, they're going to have to deal with this for right now, because of the way it is. They can't afford to lay people off, or they can't afford to fire people. And so you're seeing employers not want to push too much. Okay, they're expecting you to work your 8 hours, but if you work 9 hours, they're not going to keep pushing that, because if they're pushing 9 hours, these employees will just say, you know what, I'm going to go to another job, or I'm going to get out of the job market for right now and go get an education or something. So this is a real serious situation, and I don't see it changing anytime soon. The only thing that I can see possibly happening in the future, and I won't say the near future, but let's say in the next 6 months, as we're looking at a situation where we could fall into a recession. Now, if we fall into a recession, then employers are going to start laying people off again. Okay, and if they start laying people off again, well, then now we're going to be in a situation where these employees, they want to keep their job, so they might go above and beyond, right? They might do a little bit more, or they might even have to do more, because if companies are starting to downsize and lay off people, and that might mean that those people that are still there are going to have to work extra hard. They're going to have to do 2 jobs instead of 1 because you have less people in the workforce. So this is very, very interesting, and we're going to follow this story. We're going to continue to follow it, but when it comes down to it, quiet quitting, this is a thing. This is something that we're seeing people doing, and they're just doing their job, which is, you should just do your job, right? But I think we've been conditioned to believe, you know what, you need to work hard, you need to work harder and harder and harder. And as far as promotions, in order to get promoted, you need to do this and you need to do that. But people right now, they're saying, you know what, I don't really care about being promoted. And they're saying, I don't really care about working 60 hours or 80 hours a week. I'll work my 40 hours. I'll be happy. I'll get my check, and I'll just move forward from there. Or they might even have their eyes on another job, and all they're doing is just buying time. They're just getting their 40 hours in, getting their paycheck, and they have their eye on something else, another job out there. So I want to know what you guys think about this, so let me know down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.